Today we're putting an Ultimax ATV belt on a Polaris Ranger. Ultimax belts are designed to be application specific, so make sure you check ultimaxbelts.com to get the right one for your UTV. The machine we're working on is a 2011 Ranger 800, but the procedure is the same for all Rangers. To remove the clutch cover, you'll need a 3/8" socket, ratchet, and extension. For the belt, you'll need either the tool that came in the vehicle toolkit or a pry bar. Use caution around the engine and exhaust, which could be hot. Let the machine cool down before working on it. Please always follow all of the manufacturer's safety recommendations, installation procedures, and specifications. Set the parking brake and put the vehicle in neutral so the CVT can spin freely. Tilt the bed for access to the CVT and unscrew the vent hose clamp. The clutch cover is held on by bolts with 3/8" heads. Remove the bolts and pull the cover off. Once you get the cover off, you can see the CVT system. CVT stands for Continuously Variable Transmission. The driver or primary clutch is in front. It's bolted directly to the engine's crankshaft. There are flyweights and a spring to squeeze the belt and create upshift force. The primary is called RPM sensing because it changes shift force based solely on engine RPM. The belt transmits the power from the primary to the driven or secondary clutch. The secondary is called torque sensing because it creates backshift force based on the load from the tires. The clutches will shift until the force from the primary equals the shift force from the secondary. Since the only link between your engine and the gear case is the belt, it's important to have the right belt to get optimum performance. Polaris has used two different secondary clutch styles, one with an exposed roller and one where the roller is sealed. To remove the belt on a clutch with an exposed roller, you'll need to separate the two halves of the secondary. Polaris makes a tool for this. If you don't have the Polaris tool, a pry bar works fine. Just make sure you don't damage the aluminum clutch. Never pry from between the clutch faces. If your vehicle has a clutch with a sealed roller, pull up on the belt to expand the secondary, and then roll the belt free. Be sure to keep your hands clear of the clutch. It will close after the belt has been removed. Once the belt is off, take the opportunity to inspect a few things. First, check the old belt. If one side is noticeably more worn than the other, you could have an alignment issue with your clutches, which will tear up any belt you put on. You also want to look for cracks or signs of excessive heat. Next, inspect the clutches. Clean out any pieces of the old belt or any debris. If there is anything on the clutch faces, get those cleaned too. If there is any rubber on the clutch face from the old belt, you can use a Brillo or SOS pad. It's okay to scuff the clutch face, but you don't want deep scratches. Also, if there is a pronounced groove in the primary, it's time to replace it. You can use brake cleaner or a solvent, but be careful to let everything dry so it doesn't get on the belt. Solvents break down the rubber compound. Never use a belt dressing or solvent on a belt. Once everything is clean, you're ready to put the new belt on. Some belts have directional arrows. Belts aren't directional, so the way you put it on doesn't matter. The arrows are there so that if you ever take the belt off, you can put it back on in the same direction. This helps to ensure maximum belt life. Ultimax recommends that belts be installed so you can read the brand. Get into this habit to make sure that your belt is always running in the same direction. Spin the secondary clutch until the belt is good and snug. You should see the top of the cog above the edge of the secondary when it's tight. Make sure that the seal around the clutch cover is intact and that the groove is free of debris. All we have left is putting the cover back on. Tighten the bolts to the manufacturer's specifications. Once everything is back together, Break in your Ultimax belts by running at half throttle or less for the first 30 miles or so. This will allow the belt to seat properly and provide optimum performance and belt life. For more tips on belt installation, check out ultimaxbelts.com.